ma mensa Emma honorable Akwaba bi honorable Akwaba
yeah
sa ho de wo ho de
ya me adoma
Obi beka say as a mojamono no ewum pa what's the secret honorable
so me da mada me obi an wa se me obi an wa dwembone me to say me da from minute and I'm sorry
but no but microphone no wa ben kakra good me that's it me
Eugene mosquito Eugene mosquito
this a friend is saying opposition at the saying baby sume ben siako enso you've been a leading member of the New Patriotic Party opposition at the saying
so when free by any asamba ho nti yemu bi dey see who can feel me no answer na ekoto aba na say na yenyina ye nti economy na mankofo beto aba amaye no economy no na yenyina ye inflation rising cost of living unemployment you know ma na me say what broke the camel's back was DDEP domestic debt exchange program it wiped Nkofo savings or more pensions or more investments. People just didn't lose money, they lost trust. And we failed to adequately consult or communicate with them. The Maya said, as I buy no, I insensitive. Tining in our kahubina, a debidu baby, a debidu ye. The domestic debt exchange it didn't just impact the economy, it wounded trust. You must never again impose pain on people without dialogue. Because now you must seek a once and a no more. Say, my said there will be no haircuts. There was a nationwide broadcast over there. Subsequently, there were haircuts. They are not affected. The economy, the economy, be no economy, na I strain globally. You ask maybe I could be na Russia, Ukraine, and no hard. But as a DDEP, no. Felt top down and technocratic. The amount of watch that we needed more empathy. They say, "Chimangana 40 years, baby, I need to know." They exercise to prepare the part of mind. But I think say no, I'm and you know I can't say because feels any arrogant, your tone and you know it's a perception that the cost 2 years. I say you're afraid
that's an arrogance of power.
Yes. And there was a leadership problem, not just a PR problem. There was a leadership problem. Leaders maybe felt grassroots we were disconnected from the base. We became so defensive, dismissive of criticisms, and in some cases outright disrespectful. It be a e-levy. Ghanaian President Gofoka, the Ghanaian voter is getting discerning. If you don't respect them, they respond with their thumb. We stop listening. NPP, we stop listening. And when the party stops listening, it starts losing. And that's what happened to us. We stop listening. And when you stop listening as a political party, you start losing. And that's what happened to us. And no one or say, so if you examine the economy, also if you examine the results of 2016, 2020, and 2024 elections, clearly, who said, if you observe it, sincerity. That's what he's. Let me quote him right. I'll say observe the 2016. Let me quote verbatim. 1 minute.
Okay.
Bear with me.
Okay.
Let me quote verbatim. I just want to get it right because as more kind, as someone is saying in the court.
Very instructive. Okay.
Very instructive. I'll say, if we examine the electoral history of 2016, 2020, and 2024. With sincerity, this is the word. The soundbite is sincerity. We recognize that the Ghanaian electorate has matured and cannot be deceived. And as Asma Omampeda Dakofo Kai, MPP DBA uti in fact the word sincerity, and she is a noun. The noun sincerity,
Yeah.
The Ghanaian electorate, is getting discerning. They are more matured. I mean, we should sometimes social media and elections. There's no campaign evolve from 2,000 men paying us what we're doing, and I would say 80% or 90% of what we do is on social media.
Yeah.
It's because of social media. Now we start to kind of say you're on Facebook.
Yeah.
Maybe no need radio crowd men or Facebook with material.
Yeah.
That's how the world has evolved. And you know, we will say TMP beat my power to them, so why not? It's extremely possible to have power 2028 because Sunny Ghanaian voter naturally, you know. Don't chair 2016, don't chair 2024, and chair say, who do the agro to do with the agro. And politicians, you know, say, area back home. NPP, NDC, I say, area back. You say, as on the arrogance of power. Yes.
Too many young be come on, sir.
To me, I saw poor by Warren, where they obey Tiana Mako. Young Warren, open mamma can say, or provoke for Mokona Gata. So, darling, watch this a whole day.
Yeah.
Watch one band. Now, for no sign, I come means here, coffee, now, if you have to talk about another one, now, what that way to when in the church, the politicians were. If it to me, I'm the day, they can't smack us here. To be the who we are, I feel now so brache.
But honorable, baby say as a leading member of the NPP, aside some of these interviews in the public statement I'll make here, no. Oh, say as far back as 2022, you saw the signs clearly. Say nyamembo no aircon, and na de beboa ama yoko no.
No, so that nyasering never boa. Say as science,
okay.
What they say? It clearly muhu say MPs nibi do parliament. Sorry, Kasai. I was one of the leading advocates. Ye Kasai say they were na ye sika sem no kono. Nanka president bit me nanka on say finance minister the mai. Ye kan I know you could see the try wa ma 12 months 14 months and sana woko. Ni na sa mwan DDP ne no ke kan wa say economy say say oni free. Yi levy e kofa ba Ghana for so mo pese no ade be ma mo. Akoda bi ete mikrom kwabre ba man. Ono oni adwumaye wakoto ese bi di betting tikoto ne ha se ba o se koto be first go e be pon na koto wini 2-1 o wini kakra aban se ses kana wa wini message bi sanu ma we nyina kan wasem se na nya de be boy and see you don't introduce such obnoxious taxes in your second term and na mahama be ya ase obay shabe makofro penny o ka hwe also onte sana se Ghana kwa koyo you say NDC for don be bia no Ghana for enka enye kro mo nka we visa o aba o from mo kwan fine enti but it's mama ye bibia abe hana ban this is a time NDC for you know because we are second term now you on your way out you be bia no be so Ghana for any and to ba first term taxes be brewe so introduce you say MPP abaya and be free SHS. Ghana and nobody can take away for say MPP abaya na Ekufuado down on the free SHS by. President Ekufuado down on the PSHS by. Obi at because digitalization enye ho. When we say infrastructure, rules, city defense. When we say enye bi. Then so do maybe a ijai see Ghana for. E horo no mo so ya was okay. Se mo se mo ntia e na club na ma mo ntia nkasa e din hwemo. Emeno so akromuti na e de ma mo no. Eno one e de be punish him. Okay,
but meaning say in governance, you know, the political party that brought the government to power, no, has a role to play. In the case of the NPP, party no party no getting it wrong. Yeah, this are results here.
No, ne at the frontier. Me de say to ba we afa na nkofo bebre afa fon efrefre yenum binom. Say meje party ni enye ne. So maybe me ka Asante my assembly ho da minim. Enfun bebre anauti isamrani bebre. So wo hwe twirebo akodua. So the tigya chema. Ejusu di kopem. There's all the ditch at them. You see, everybody as a leader, you have to be selfless to save your nation. What do I say? You get a bit like I know to parliament or so, now a party, so results at their mind 88 MPs, 41%. But we felt, say, let's say, Casa. They say, one party, you see, maybe I do elections no me mangana ni bia MPP ni bia so ate MPP ni bia be otie bia mana so ate say the 2024 election wasn't just a political loss, it was a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call. It was not a political loss. We lost because our systems became too rigid. That's number one. Our messaging became disconnected from the very people who were elected to serve. Because the Obama no catch or say, E-levy M1. Why do you bring E-levy? Obijina kwa ho. Akosi sangwa nwa umurem. Kese kura se pemebri kura pamono. Obijina kwa ho o ton di bia amane maame afia ne nuanom. Ebia de ni nyina no. Ana we now twini nyina na first okura 200 cedis. O the 100 cedis no nyato na phone so pe o se ni bia beti no. So ni ska bia 100 cedis beti no. Ni wan go sisi dan kese won kran e de man han a omutua property rate.
Yes.
Eti o shisha man sa e better na the masses no atwa
in that instant then the senka party no e dey aban no aba no then the senka party ni
se ne me kasa ma me ho nti ubit ma frɛ omo ana editu me ma omo national executive so be kasa ma party no because you see I say Yebeka senti radio station kwa manku bi kwa mo ase from se mra ha o ma ya hijack media space ni nyina pese obia ye pese beti dissenting voice be free MPP.
Oh really?
Oh yes, it's a fact.
There was MPP mo.
I'm telling you. O da hwe mo ecolody o da hwe mo a every just monitor for two baby are the same faces. Party paying 4% kasa kwese mo kasa because of a particular agenda na president obia o one vote. Obia o one vote. E no president for kasa chere pass tie ya. Obia o one vote. In the same here, na me party pay. We want to be Ghana ha me hwe omo ana omutie ma no asem. Ni biza ofu say o ha me a o kasa di party di match because say ene omunya ofu so monto aba. How do you win? How do you get a 50% plus one? What they say, this is the state of the party now. You best be can okre. What they say, I mean nyina won say look, ya call election according to Google kese say. Party a committee the professor Okuya Kotena no. Or the report about my recommendations. Recommendations no e die ne wo mu a ese ya you can say mo fa bibia me to bonte there be but die na ese ye a be ma yet no reorganize here o dey ase
I know the party na ka say nya dia mo de be to bonte
ye ka say fa bia to bonte but no man na mo ye if recommendations no one say nkan ho we feel between now and next year no the party must reorganize itself. We must fix the party. Ufri kwase wo konkran ka o de kono engine nyina so o se nyina na beko na odru kokko na ka ne nyina so na o ye den o de ase the priority now is to fix the party. The reorganization is about more than restructuring. You have to reorganize the whole party, reconnecting with the Ghanaian people, rebuilding trust. Gideon Ghana for emu say MPP there. Omba isika say mo shirem kama say Gideon so ho. Law and order. Ho. Ghana say sorry ye dey it me ye fa ho ni nyina o dey say. Realign our party with the people who built it. Omo edikanfo no mba no na eye den iska any 2 minute posting tea. And on buy. No president for kai no. Say the 2 minute temporary power. And don't just say party in the order. We have undying principles of the tradition. What I say, to me, I belong to a tradition. I don't belong to a camp or a faction. Camp or a faction, no. It me for 2 minutes. MPP. Hey, but me uncle for 20 for 2 minutes. Can I also go for 20 for 2 minutes? Branch champion Crawford one. O ma peni ya boy do chum one. Ma mo bi na kasi ma go bi ma mo bi din. E bo che ja kon kwa bre Japan jogate. O ma peni obi no one kwa bi tumi aba. You say nyina kabom.
Into what dream no in rebuilding the party no, where do you start from?
Well, you start from the constitutional amendments are they call conference 2020. And yeah, about no yet. About the class they are not even being if anything. I'll come to it. Yeah, share party said they be any organized party amendments. Then a year bit my constitution. Last time was I think 2017, 2018. Let's look at the constitution. At the end, the constitution in my hand. Go for the recommendations. Go for yes, another constitution amendment. No, they are him. But let me tell you something. Constitution is a holistic document. Constitution, NPP Constitution.
Yes.
It's a holistic document. If you just don't read and take chapter 10, I want to know what kind of that's not how to read the Constitution. Omo nam say you go 12 and 31st omo kano. They are relying on Article 13. What do I say? Now Article 1 there, Article 10 there, any monga. Oko party organization Article 10. Or say there shall be a national organization of the party. Meaning so you be with makani tree mamia.
Tree madam na.
Madam Beha. Beha. Betra na me can watch it. Me can matuko man watch it. Or say there shall be a national organization of the party. But you chip money.
National organization.
Of the party.
Nature say party no a free esro no mo ekokosi no mo be ye hoboaboa atoto niema
which shall consist of the National Annual Delegates Conference.
Emu no omo ebe ye annual National Delegates Conference no. Say na so be no July 31st. July. No.
And if you want about National Congress.
Okay.
No, if you just want about National Executive Committee. And some about steering committee. Steering committee is share every week to administer the affairs of the party. NEC and the National Council share every quarter. What do I say? Because in the absence of conference, no, but it's clearly tell you, say, the National Annual Delegates Conference, which shall be the supreme, and your mail, it says shall. It's mandatory. Uti.
Yeah.
On can mail, or say shall. I say.
Yeah.
Or say, there, or say Article 10.2. Article 10.1, any kind, you know, there shall be a national organization of the party which shall consist of the National Delegate Conference and the Supreme Body, any about in July, no, Supreme, Obia or Matabia Hobi.
Yeah.
If you are no about National Congress, any two flag bearer we are, any year, no, with the 2023,
yeah,
Emma about me, and it was a Congress. Who we knew we are the year Congress.
Okay.
Now your National Executive Committee, your National Council, National Council, regional executives, regional executives, regional chairman, also regional executives, national executives, a former presidential candidate, National Council,
okay,
MPs, be selected MPs. No, my National Executive Committee, no, and any part of 12 appointments, no. I'm national executive for and I say committee is anglo for na ebia majority the back ka ho ebia a presidential candidate back ka ho na a flag bearer back ka ho na uko 10-2 ti hoyo there shall be a national annual delegates conference who shall be the supreme governing body of the party.
Okay.
Wait him
there be ebuda ho.
The national annual delegate conference shall meet once every year. And Nunse Manasha Council to me, no. Are you listening?
Meet pa.
Or say it shall meet once a year.
Every year, yeah.
Constitutionally. And in the absence of that, you know, and a national council and a national executive share. We go to be share 101.
Yeah.
In the before say Afibia share back. That's why it's called annual. Annual,
yeah.
But in between, no, annual, no, I feel maybe 3 quarters and a 4 whatever it is. It's every quarter, no. More National Council and neck, Mungo share. Maybe be why I say when you say Moya party. No,
and Sana, I feel no Anusia, Nafi, Yadicasapano, so Diaba, yeah.
In this particular case, no, when you share National Council, I want no national conference to me upon the amount, and Casso Semra National Council, I'm a national conference. No, what I say? So what I say?
Matthias,
yes,
Matthias,
that's a Appeals Court, Echo Semra Supreme Court. What to be that? What to be that?
Is that what we are seeing now?
Now, Sasa Ukosia. Now, I say you got 31st January, he presidential candidate.
Yeah.
Now that decision is final. Because National Council, and now you keep relying on 13. And I make sure I'm saying 13, 10.
Yeah.
Why are they not talking about the 10? Because you must read this document holistically. This document must be read conjunctively. Article 10 and 30 must be read conjunctively.
Yes.
Okay, and they're not doing that. Conveniently, or selectively, they are focusing on Article 13. Same say, Ghana for parking kind. Into 13 no can we are or making the case no called baby. and you have former legislators.
No, but the reasons are one of the party in the for 31st January primary is that I'm not meaning an Kasai. Just say it's going to bring the party together.
And you know, on your why are you selecting a presidential candidate to be able to go out there and campaign? The run of the party is not the presidential candidate's duty. If you're national executives, you're consulting executive, you're regional executive. The running of this party is not in the hands of any presidential candidate. Do you understand?
Me too.
Unless they are and know your dereliction of duty. Say they mama na untiminye, na so be na meye ma. Say ukoyi presidential candidate ne. Otimiye campaign because say Ghana for obatodom. The NDC be omo person bete. Oti ase president can wey not yo. Otio. Say obi misbehave in the party. President could discipline so discipline. Abra constitution ma ho kwan.
No.
It you got to go president can na bobo party ni anu a. Na say unnim odwuma. And respectfully, na unnim odwuma. Because a new party no, it's not run by, it's run from the base to the top. Once you become a national officer, muna mo share around the party and share every week. We share every 3 months. Ne kanina e chemo juma. Ojuma isemo ye. It will be a wire president. Though presidential candidate once elected becomes part of the steering committee, and next one, excuse me, And you juma say on ununti party ni mwajo. And you know credit.
So you feel this reverse cycling is sort of a recipe for disaster?
Of course.
For the NPP?
My member of parliament in Preno.
Okay.
Every election cycle, every election cycle, that's my mandate. Our constitution, dear mammy. Between constituency elections. MED constituency executives.
Yes.
My bet 2 regional election, the regional executives. My bet 2 national, the national executives. My 2 presidential, my 2 parliamentary. My 2 maybe 4 years now. And I bet 4 years now. I go to one. I go to power from you. Nibusao. Ghana, if you're a October president.
Yeah, too.
It's the 18th of each November. I come to October now. I'm the Muraba said the 18th of November now. A better president in January. Or as it young trainer, young caught in the following year. 70 man go to a president. Now go my trouble and go to you. What's be that?
No, but why do you feel, sir, bottom top now? The system now can and they as a yes in transit. You use the word convenience.
Yes.
Right? To convenient who?
Well, whoever is doing it, it's a matter of convenience. Because you see, the party is built from the base. Or more police station for one better by presidential MP. You cannot impose on police station, okay, say Wakaup, where you may as presidential candidate. Na ochna asana akwoto efom de no efom for the culture say na say ngena mto ba ebia honorable Eugene Boakye Antwi so my president candidate o meto ba ma no so mo de ye tuo dem so dey say it yes o ma party for na wo form no e ba na to aba no look at say the first obeyi leader no na ma party ni mo adwo me so otia o pa ma no mas na say mo badwo is it want to create more problems?
Really?
Yes. What's that? Tie adibia wo ya me hwe no one side o. And maka tell say hwe and mo we are no bebre or party mo a in the end na cost yen. It's a high time we learned not to repeat those mistakes. You per se to about January. It's fine. Money be anyhow. Yes, you call conference July we are August they started polling stations. That time no, you start here, you best start here. You better conference baby, quickly they put it together. By late August, they started polling station elections. March, near year coordinators and constituency elections. I find saying, sorry, September. Yeah, March, September, no year constituency and coordinators elections near we. October, near year regional elections. November. Near national elections. Then January na still near 2 presidential elections. No? The structure will still be intact. They say we say amendments. Now amendments we are. What is our police station where we are presidential candidate no. Now we are what's up the country say afena ko to muswaba. What be that? O dey say and officer ye we are the dey asun be ba. Bi o he say the university no. You be nipa be we no one about force now them say we want one support to. Na concern start. Afi we call no we pen the say ye man kwan. We go pay we say man and the more confusion alienation be party no. Until let's stick, there's no rush. We have to fix the party. And one you fix a party here, and your candidate win election my party. So be a casa or bois, NPP members who are say, a Baumia and me lose election. A party and I lose election. What party about me? What I say?
But he obviously is the
you are the leader, but. But the first one leader in chess say one corner lose election. The party can be what party they go the party in a year. Or do Obama grab will lose. And that is the key thing I said shit him. What I say it main person we are some personalizing some and I don't want it like that. Let's stick to what we think ought to be done now. And then that pyramid. A form no awareness now. It's young boko near 12 and you be didn't a question there a normally in position. Yena a bit and a yet the bit party no, we have to reorganize ourselves. By reorganization, no didn't remember politics. But no, I don't just say we must rush to select a president and think and say yina party, but you better more. That means you do a party with one.
But what make proposals be in that regard? Same come here to change the
and I'm going to say yeah stay. Say be say October December and your national council the Beshem Ramain a conference bit man Samrano because down me tie John Boadu last Saturday e wo Kumasi omo ye Kokoso constituency chairman e wo Kumasi
yes
you more be kind also all our processes are rooted in the constitution. If you want to vary any of the process, you have to go back to the council. Would be national council now. National council, never want to negotiate you. And a conference to me, pony be a mamma. A delegated power. What do I say? It is almost more kind of they must be put in a motion form and brought to conference for the party to decide on it. Conference, the council executive, regional executives in a baby, a MPs for one in a baby. That is the forum. All this sound manaba. Don't bother said all this in Kumasi. You know people are saying say oh and I by nipa crab no mun into my anyano credit. Majority of the people in the party don't believe. Omopa omuye sana omo setting of obi kwana kasa to go and defend it. All the omo defend this adno. Show mudin bomudin. You be now tell boboy. Omo kwana defend this adno. I don't know macro for kwana go kasa. John Board is a former general secretary. Why are you not calling these people to come out to speak to it? Why the same face, the same voices in the BR? Can't you tell me?
You think it's deliberate, right?
Oh, quite deliberate. Quite deliberate. But you see, we are not going to allow them to do it because you're perceived by power. If you're not going to allow some personal interest, to subvert the interest of the majority, we're not going to allow it. You're perceived by power. And by power, who will be our vote. We don't want a situation where you say, I'm going to be at theater. Yes, I hear it. It's the idea, you will say a Democratic Party. You will be a candidate Pesoka. You will be a Biafana Jemra. Not a Babua party. It's just a conference, put in a motion form and table it. Or the banner do not say, yeah, I'm about to abano. Yeah, but I want to make a say, National Council take a decision. In addition, to taking a final.
No, but make I say Ura Cabinet Japan. That's our proposal. Or the be Atuja, right?
Japan Wakasawetino.
Yes.
Wakasawetino. Or Bizu Wakasawetino.
Or say Wakasa.
After conference, after National Council Wakasawetino.
Wakasa.
And I'm to Wakasawetino.
Yes.
What's a man of guy?
Oh, that's in community, Ebibri.
No,
but the fact is, he's also contested.
Suppose also the coin. Yes, or the concern Yama at the phone in an the current and the former.
Yes.
From police station all the way up. My friend say good proposal. I feel more the buyer, my police station, I'm more doors free. It means it's an argument I don't push it for early presidential primary. It doesn't hold. What kind of land in last? And we upper men, I'm no BNTB. What do I say? I don't buy na muji 2 mona nti manage na so car say enu ti anye presidential na first no. Mo dey ban mo police station for na free mu. And aside from constituency upwards. And those numbers are not significant to do anything. Yeah, one member, one vote. I'm saying it in database as a MPP. Party at power 33 years. You need membership database. You don't want to. Move for police station. At the phone, anyone say we don't know police station. We know one. Move for unless we have police station for non-trunching. Now, young Fawi. Corporate point is the only former secretary. What the so mama the term crown so no call. Me say dambu chitiase. Or into so echo there. Dambu chitio. Jombo do. They should call them. We must have a view of this. Or move you on this. Oh, that's do you are there can I say bonu are there people party being able support to. But baby H9 we have too many issues on the table to solve. And just by electing one person is not going to solve the issue. But I didn't about to be any pabes 8 in the that's 7 wolf. Number of people they achieve them. I don't know what you will. And why then.
No, but from Sesani Auka say, what do you see wrong with the current leadership of the party?
You don't have to ask me that question. You are not being fair to me.
No, honorable.
No.
I have. You
are not being fair to me.
Especially as someone who intends to.
Yes, anytime you are not being fair to me in the CJ.
Really?
Yes. Say when we say me election.
Yes.
Because me no be contested. Nipa so akase obi gina bio. Is a betra na me say be put on the table abra oni ha. I'm not being fair to the person. It's not in my nature to do that. So tia meka no so aka. No be etie. No be making decision. Oni happy. Me no ma me kwan say me kasa. It's a me ko kan bibi e fa executive no mo ni nyina ho a more or less o kan ho bi. Your party no structure no. National chairman and general secretary are the 2 key positions. They don't go cabinet. No? What they are saying, general secretary are the chief executive of the party. What they are saying, it's all other things they take instructions from the chief executive. It's who candidates who are attacking national chairman and general secretary. And I don't think say it's fair so near the maker. But me ma join and the party for say of course oh you know it. Me don't call but na me o my and I join na me do an journal. They see when you mate me titi the people bebre say come and read no bebre or platforms so. What I say? So these sentiments no, sentiments are sentiments are what I say in Kofu express. Now this is the time for you to listen to all these sentiments. What I say? Na mahwe de beboa ne aye. Say ya hwe no ne antakle no. Na ejampo so enkoyi candidate ni candidate bibia bejo a me say the all canon the all kasa onim the all can. Well, this party is not run with just one person. It's run with people and divergent views. And I'm going to say, see, if you belong to the tradition, you do what is in the best interest of tradition. What do I say? And if you are acting because of a camp, you sing the song of the camp. I'm whining. What do I say? And what bad they say translate every discussion about it and discuss it. New the Buano.
Former MMDCs, Ekoshia aspirant near there, my MP Subin Constituency, the former flag bearer, former vice president. You feel it's out of order?
Well, you'll be so soon share me than the first time I spoke to you as a member of parliament. Say your police, your delegates. When you're a member of parliament, you speak for whole constituency. You got to the seat to 2022-2023.
Yes.
In the end, why are you repeating the same mistakes? The history has taught us that we don't learn from history. What I say? So now pay Dr. Baumia, on our pet Kene Japan, on our pet Brian Champon, Educhum, Boache Jakon, Yogati, Quabre Japan, yes or penal. But man, show go to dream. You go to Obama. Salmon mu yeni nyina no ene ko fa sa anu man ba man ko 43. O ti ase ye to ba wi na de nipa na open na nya so wanya. And this was the first time to ba sa de na ko so party fe na party na chole te so munyai. Like started in 2023.
I late.
Oh, na say belated because some of these MPs
kata no ba na nansa no.
Me say and what be why you see Said that's a failure of leadership or a dereliction of duty.
So my transfer I am
as I say, some of these MPs
yes.
are spokespersons for the aspirants. You see, we're belated. No man should be belated. I say, fear Timuna to quite anymore. None of us, sorry, one face of foot no so. Naka Chomarian foot about them. I've never used to so. It been a cosono. Belated. Because MPs may be spokespersons for these aspirants. I don't want him. The way
a minority leader and then 3 days daily graphic front page 024 especially MPP MPs say I mean endorsement in the kahone ade no nyina no wamuntwa so
enti etu beto say honorable afenyo marking kwame na afenyo marking to on sport obia beto say but or can say any kwansi yi anim sport obia say dey about to be
yes
me am ti about me to be
beto
me sport obia but me ko gina ba bi ko kase ntia obi anami ko bibia e betia obi hwe Dr. Baumia me 2014 na me ye adwuma closely NPP elections review committee or a chairman me and secretary ni Professor Michael Kwe or honorable Mark Menu nom ye a formal committee me nimba Baumia closely for how many years now? Almost 12 years.
Yes.
Share honorable Kenya Japan, honorable Brian Champon, honorable Educhum. Sankofu in a minimum chamber for 8 years. You watch a jackon, or I say, me offer, me your penny, Cobre Japan, same. You got it, and no coming Cassandra. Omina Emiliano. Development Paco Jambe, be said, I must have made this one to be. About to be, not to be. But me could number being quaby being tell me could be moved because we baby and I seem to be a freedom to me a general secretary. Is them to be a basse. Obeson so Eugene there or they can find a yard to a frame. You see, people must believe in you. You must be honest. What they say, no be oh, my level playing field. But only got Thomas Waba. I'm the same party, no, as we share. We be say, start of a mark of indiscipline because you mean nomination. But I'm the same party, because only got Thomas Waba. One more chat on Bessie Twabano, and the process of FM. How many beneficiaries?
They have a say?
Yes, they should have a say. Hey, now they no filing fees. The party is just only a referee. Controlling has a boy, see MP has a Graspo Stadium, has for the MP Mansport Stadium, okay, and they call a if anything. Yeah, they call what they say. Brekumasana. Says I don't know.
Yeah,
team is already. Brekumasana Park. Only a bono. I say me hobby. I say the park never be a bonus. What do I say? It you make it sure. Say, oh my God, Thomas Waban. They also have an input. What do I say? Because where what constitutional working document and is made for man. It's time behind the year that's to be brains. Let's hear and that's to be back.
A constitution can am find Edwin. Engineer Adrian Panoka Quachen no.
Oh, there be Sunday, Senipa, a Yakushia, Nipa 8 as a Sakushia, Nemu 6, and then 5 class who, general and M1 party, you have times here. So they are in the majority.
Okay.
All the party must do is just, come around to that convergence point. It says, okay, so that do any kind of any Samamu. Into Mumma Quanian family. You see, you must. Cooperation as a consul. Say, by we be here, we could lose. The bay one, they be a community. And so, no, Pebidia Coshe. What do I say? And I'm on printing and Miss Free Party.
Adom 6.3 FM. Many the Honorable former Member of Parliament for Subin Constituency, Honorable Eugene Boakye Antwi, and ameneno twetwe enkomo ni atwibia be so hon ma yede ebro, and lots of comments on Facebook meba ho na fe ma beken kan ni na ede ama. Honorable, at this point in time of the party NPP, national executives ben and a party no here.
You say media me say they hear me air reforms. You see, it's not about the title or the position. What do I say? Sure. We need structural surgery. Structural surgery. Not cosmetic change. And the 4 key reforms, expanding the electoral college. The current model, it breeds vote buying and manipulation. What I said, you must move to a universal suffrage model where every dues paying member, no, one member, one vote. And I must say, you need database, fine.
Now, say, former MMDC saying for Monka electoral
college. Say, oh, you're a Bemon to buy, say, Monka to officially the former MPC, I so do me account. Fine, but let me go there.
Okay.
This democratizes power and reduces corruption. Power must return to the grassroots. I'm the trouble. I'm the campaign. And you want national officer campaign. Constituency polling station for the campaign. What do I say? Yes. Every dues paying member must have a vote, not just a vote. These are some of the things we are looking at. Expanding the electoral college. 2, abolish top-down appointments in the party. We need bottom-up legitimacy. But if you form neighbor, they must go to select our leaders for us. You better bet transfer as a Shama form 4. That's not the MPP way. MPP a FAPM a battle. Ye GDA a battle. That's the foundation of this party. In the federal dome of war, democracy for one and any dome of war. Democrats. Now, Waba, clear guidelines for party appointee accountability. We must institute performance reviews for party appointees in government. That is, if we are in government, and engage the base. And a digital membership verification system. A tamper-proof membership register that allows for transparency in voting, polling station organization, and communication. These are the normal SCI costs to say, now won't these reforms disrupt entrenched interest? Yes, but they should. If we fear disruption, we don't deserve to win.
You feel interest doesn't matter. It doesn't come in. It doesn't count.
There be interest in it. Interest is who flag by no coalition or lose. And I interest is we flag by no president. It ain't interest. No president who want it. Who coalition now lose? Why we a flag bearer? But we need a president. So what I say, yeah. There's a difference between the two. And getting to the president, no unity. And no president, no, it's not president for kinds of went here.
Yeah,
and what do I say? The NPP was built on bold reform. We must be ready to challenge our comfort zones if we are serious about 2028. Reform is not rebellion. Reform is not rebellion. It's a responsibility. And if we don't fix the system will finish us. System the way we select our leaders is rooted in the constitution. Let's follow it. You must say to abandon this January 31st assembly by into police station from August. You put two in place. What be a time but National Council conference can take a decision and say Juma July conference in Timothy Conference can why don't you take such a bold proposal to conference? And get an endorsement there. Why are you so interested in selecting a flag bearer? Before all these changes, all these reforms happen.
It's like putting the cart before the horse.
Now, a diamond I won't see foundation to do chest neguso.
And one and be say enya bronsana ye babisi. I asked him this question.
You see,
or say enya bronsana. This is a political party.
Oniha, it investment can be. Nana be sebi party no yakora wom. The first one national organizer can say or you pay your party no. Mean your kumano. Okasa unya botre. You don't speak like that. Say, hey, party and how do you speak like that? Casabeno no. No national organizer, tone of language, no be beyond say a reflective position. Obi kase, a die the unse o sa ebia. Say naka say and yet die in a poker party. You see, when you use emotions, we also use emotions not to go and vote. And is that what you want? As a national organizer, your job now is to draw people to you. Let people gravitate towards you. What I say? But Sakasanona and yet done. You see, when you do that, you are dealing with the masses. Oh, we are dealing with the masses, and over can be a quite. And I'm asking my younger brother to tone down. Any people who you man here, do be a can be a no the say brave woman yentie near the group and send any name we can easily discard it. But sad dying one, yes, you see anything there. No one about power and prenu. Sad dying also a bit my outcome once no, about power and prenu. Now, in perforce, choir, a journal. In front of choir, this is not my worker. choir ajono if the ma be in say choir ajono no am on to be national youth organizer abe national organizer no mo fe no choir we need stability in this party. We don't want anything that will shake the foundations of this party. That's not what we want, because we want to win 2028. And if the party fixes itself and reconnect with Ghanaians, realign with the vision of Ghanaians and the hopes and aspirations of Ghanaians, we can win power.
Okay. Honorable Adaroma, a former member of parliament at Chiragin, on a certain advantage, the national executives of the NDC were over that of the NPP. In fact, what Tre said this time around, if the NPP is electing national executives, people with parliamentary experience, in the national executive setting, rather than Obia Onisa experience,
Me feel say Obika say people with parliamentary. Nipa so be so the elections are not parliamentary, no MP that.
Okay.
But a time has come, say we are operating in the same environment as the NDC. Until we are be your competitor, the only be our way. In the be SWOT analysis.
Yes.
Your strengths, your weaknesses,
opportunities and
threats.
Yes.
Until the NDC for the no more year, I say they have become a very formidable election winning machine. What do I say? You look at the people that are elected to lead them. Me started off, my first election in this party was to contest for the NPP UK branch secretary.
Okay.
Me feel me by Ghana. Me by Ghana 2008, by 30 years. I was part of the regional campaign team. I was part of the regional campaign team 2008 to 2012. 2008, I called primary. I lost to Honorable Isaac Osei. 2012, Manko. And I call on a post. 2015, party for Shemen Munyam, a candidate, parliamentary candidate was I made 2 terms member of parliament, made deputy minister, Matra National Council for 4 years under Jacob Chibelamte. Inti Usha party my firm.
Yeah. Rich, very rich experience.
What do I say?
Yes.
Parliament, so many committees now, me chair, me a member, me a ranking. Eti me experience be. Ina make us say, you do baby now kasa. You know, and supposition, million na be better now, can. Yeah, can be paying. But you tone down. What do I say? My frontline politics for the last 20 years. Frontline. And yet, me teach you frontline politics. And you've seen all the arguments. You've seen all the mistakes. You've seen the entrenched positions taking. And they are 88%, 88 MPs, 41%. You carry people along. That's the job of Penyimubia in the party, is to carry people along. Let people see that you are persuading them to come to your way of thinking. What do I say? Yes, your party no, about it through your constitution no. What you be the best rabbi saying anything. But if you say, baby, if you say yeah, bebuano, fine, you bit my. What do I say? But this poster say, I'm right, you are wrong. No. It's a poster say, oh, send a party with CIA. And from my board party, you can't get no free wa, a be a beboa. We so there be, ya be paying, I'm what? What do I say? Did you fuck one way so? What do I say? 2028, and about telling us that we've changed. Because this kind of posturing by certain people in the leadership, no, it's not helping us. And it won't help us. This is a time for measured responses. And Ubia's sense of persuasion must be at your fingertip. Because baby, I want to party in reorganizing. In the party reorganizing, we reform outdated structures now. And no my say again, anything. It be anything. That's the question you ask yourself. And no my say it be necessary reforms here.
Yes.
What you say? You see, so you know, I'm going to yes, if nominations open, I'll be contesting for the position of general secretary, not for the position, but for a purpose. What do I say? Because say I represent the bridge between the young and the old. Experience versus innovation. You see, you look at all these between the base and the leadership, and I will speak truth to power. What do I say?
You will.
Yeah, of course. Sir, I'm not going to be a general secretary for a flag bearer. I'm going to be a general secretary for the party. Any idea I have party? No? You know what I say? In the party, no more party, no more way. Well, when you are in government, as a party in the OBU, be a president in the bottom. And
there's that disconnect.
It is there. We'll be any. Now, you walk them, then you can't, not free, baby for neighbor. Now, Bibi, I make a chance say, a ceiling Katamian was Tessa. You also mobile, baby, John Mohammed tobacco, also tobacco. Because he's for the party. He'll be, sir, I'm going to get my party for. Polling station for electoral area coordinators, constituency chairmen, regional executives, national executives, party for all the major stakeholders. There must be somebody at the party officer. Yes, all the president Kokonto Kwadabi. But my president who said, Domna dear by now get the Domna pre 2 years, chino, Abasobody. Dr. Kofi Abifabuzia, a former prime minister, can recognition. Urabi Tozuzu can reward. These are the two key things. Politics is our recognition, is our reward. Yes, and only normal. I say the admin koso. So baby a jine. Yeah, a big general. You see, you become a general secretary of a political party, not to come and sing the praise of somebody. You'll be a party you never turn it because that's the duty of the party. But you are playing that interest to the detriment of the party.
But Honorable Boakye, why do you want to become the general secretary of the NPP?
And I'm going to say, I want to become...
Because there are other positions. National organizer, first vice, second vice, national
chairman. As American, what's one of the questions? Because I was on TV.
Innovation in your
Canada. The UTA, because why do you uncle so? As now can count phone also. The catch that will say, party position me here, a chairman and a general secretary. Chairman on a free meeting, on a chair meeting. General secretary on a chair will be your party, will be taking for the general secretary. And they call general election on a diet of operations.
82 positions in the Mubako now, I'll pick up.
The general secretary there, and I may pray, and I may pray. I may be nomination because you are like the pivot in the party. You are the engine room of the party. Oh, the party bedin kugu, bedin kunimo, general secretary. Udi mo akotene pa. You are missing country. What you say? It will be catch us a share diano, na show modiano. Do omodiano, we na former members of parliament, we former ministers. Into a level of expertise be, but me person me call for now. But make sure say me, dear me. I started off as a branch secretary from the UK. Me buy my baby, my baby MP, my baby deputy minister, my national council party no. Baby I say me febia, and be no me say me who be me who party no. And I know what it takes to bring this party back to where it was.
Is that your ultimate ambition?
Yes, we are taking the MPP back to basics. The party of Darucha, the party of Alajeti, the party of Mark Menunum. This is what we want to take. The party of Haruna Isekunum. This is what we want to take. Jacob. This is what we want to take. We want somebody who's going to sit there and protect the interest of the party, not the interest of any individual, but the interest of the party. I've told you, I belong to a tradition. That's the MPP tradition. I don't belong to camps or factions because my said no, any them. Sometimes when you are looking at recruiting somebody for a job, Krana will be on loyalist. Your minister time ministry chief writer only party or man. And so on the year you want. You should write a ministry no. And that's how you must run this party. Say you want a party in such a way, say Ubia party being Ubia Ubijama party for no bread, umbuso bread. Because a bar mupe, then Casna started. Bibia no pan or bread. Now no chairman be catching move central region. Or say about one minister be office 56 times with minister no. Only a first vice na police station is saying. These are the things we want to remedy in this party. Because a power, there's nobody speaking for the party. That mentality must stop.
Is this something that the current general secretary, I speak
for Eugene Boakye Antwi. I don't tweet for anybody. You can invite him to your studio and ask him that question. I need him because I best Ubini Ham never discussing. I don't think I'm being fair to that'll be fair to anybody. Me my try me come there to Hiana offer now be Canada. Say Oba to me amano the only 2 minutes here
but maybe I mean from monitoring from afar you've seen some of these things that you want to address.
Debbie. Me patch for me see here.
Me patch over Roma.
Say John, baby will make you so rest in peace. Say the crew na come be your friend me pem dada.
Come on, Dino, no. Yeah, pem dada.
Say come on, Dino. Say for me pem dada.
Many Honorable Eugene Boakye Antwi, former member of Parliament, Subin Constituency, na mene no etwetwe and komo. Honorable, one key thing. Kwanya obefaso abringe suppose factions together Baumia faction way faction and they cry there NPP no oral and kojo chairman we free at what ten hokra members ni be from. How are you going to bring all these factions together? Say a party to about you say general secretary.
And Makache say when you are the party general secretary and you don't belong to any camp, it's easy to unite the party. And you're secretary, who force and I can we go na sum, who Abna, Mammy Abna, who Mammy Abna, what we say we're going to assume. So, wow, Macron only manity fee, now they'll catch you be a one on Frank Kabumuma. So, to me, tells a woman.
Yes,
O my saying,
and 9.
No, ABR, second one, ABR only council Nsem. Others cry and be break. What I say, yes. Say another beer, other beer, no. Second one, the beer, that different. But when you are fair to them, Tofina watch out, Tofina 9, the good tables will be a maybe. Say ice cream 9 will be a maybe. They will see you as a very fair father. And this is what I'll bring on board if elected by the people of this party. Yeah, no beer and your fine, Senator and Kabumono and your ding. What I say, we will fix one BB and Tianoa. Now you are Democrats. More conference on chairman of my say. They are going to codify it into omu rules, no. So be pet ni MP and the president there. You many panoko print out there. Party in a be mama party no. Now could the enemy ko ene bia de could nation one wenya na mnasefwaba. What do I say? I'm saying I'm going to be a general secretary for the party, not for a flag bearer. Obia anko print. Say me campaign, me better na me campaign. Obia so go try belong in the campaign. Obianya party in be ken wabum but the obi ko penade ko bone kana hu se we bitiana on tia seda e ko be obeya also mapa no so be and that's what NSA move away from what you say oba o kana semati e to otima koto aba ma no o dey say o ba for no apera koto aba ma no bibia esi won kwan be ni kwan say yes say that's a bid your party no mo nka ho and na we na ko mo na yeden no.
We must want to but the flag bearer is a very key figure moving into an election. Wadaroma, flag bearer bang and an MPP here CA flag bearer bang. I mean, a grassroots person, the same elite.
Now, politician bang on your grassroots.
Obi how can nanu?
Oh, Debbie, you'll be a grassroots politician.
Oh, okay.
Now say one year grassroots. A move four as one former members of parliament. Dr. Baumia since 2008, and I'll buy a running mate, I'll be a vice president. A million penny watcher Jacon, why campaign manager.
Yes.
I call the Ghana baby, I come back upon why general secretary. Omina grassroots. Omina, Jogati. Also, I call baby, watching Ghana, Omina, be a grassroots.
And the flag bearer been a party in here, CCA.
And I president for Kano, a problem solver. And somebody who is capable of uniting this party. That's all. Because when you have to unite the party to win the main election.
Yeah.
Inti ene here. Maybe I make you man. I make sure say platform no. And that I say unite bit my back when you go in election. But the common enemy is the NDC. NDC for you don't want some more. NPP be anywhere so no want some because you unite their back. They are no 2 grants say all the time any. ehun Crawford chi and Crawford no na will become.
But our intentions to be voted as a general secretary, as a way an interim do. And because as far back as January, move on.
There be and then go for started flies. But let me tell you, me too. Let me feel say officers in be resource in ya no. Na visa officers in be ankobio.
Oh, sir.
Oh yes. Now resource we want then I catch you on to about.
It's only first vice chairman Buti. Yeah, job better be out here.
We are concerned you.
National executives ni na almost fail. Yeah, no ka ho. Oni me
no kasa o de we busa question e mo be edin. Wa busa question say uti me ma gene say ye to aba ni wie ye no.
Yes.
Ango for start say me mra general secretary. Na me nye madwen. Na me nye madwen.
Okay.
But na me so bi ni say resource ye nya no. Omu nyina obi no betuma anya kuduru kwaso be elections. Because this election result is the most abysmal, the most appalling, the most disappointing under the Fourth Republic. In the day now, can you on your support over now? Oh, they are saying me.
Yes.
Me. Say the menu are paying McMahon year in 2009. You lose elections now. On the lose say you. On what was they call 49.7%. At about 48%. And so crowd say only in a view. The open omu nyina ankobio the open one sem kobio na general secretary na ohin nto so ko the party for no ka kire no ana omu nyina so mabi na de oba ene esomu e no the court ranchen it immediate to aba na wie na me obi a we politician to aba wie a the very because that ya to aba na wie obi akura data no o dey say yes say me nua katache jomboadu oba ye yes say 168 or the about 137 plus 1 onko olusu 32 seats. Obi so aba ye dey be also lose 49 17 seats more. It's not they say was a co-election. But the other campaign the two be na wo dey na conform. It's not make say media na me so mu nyina obi ankobio.
Should they step down? Should they do the honorable thing?
It's a matter for their conscience. It's not for me to say. It's a matter for their conscience. Yes. Say more juma na vi say juma maye ama aso ani a okobio anye den. Ubi a winning power maybe a general secretary be a election or winning. Damboche did it. He occurred twice. Yombo do twice. Ubi a baby a back. O the it is a resource no banner in Swenia. That's why the honorable thing by stepping aside. O the say, Nyamna sebe catch them. And media them say before media say major biono. And before media major for the position no. Let me so win and yadu be a bigina. Based on the results are in Sakai. But hey, we are talking about ambitions here. Inti, you heard the party for no catch there.
All right, Mama, now I say Wajibrana pay abane at Chichinko. But on a lighter note, minim say high life and Mama. It's all open your pa. I don't have you the one and penny. And the Jenna Ben, when you and who is your favorite?
I don't pay. You carry my book of you for soon, pim time. So I have a name, Pepper. Oh,
okay.